Welcome back. I'm Sue Hansen, and I have noticed as been returning to Ancestry now that I can still reach that resource till the end of this year. It's available from home on the Noble homepage, and that can be, I'm going to share my screen, that can be accessed through, as I say, the end of the year from the Northern Onondaga Public Library databases off of noble.org website. And as I click, I'm taken to a new look, and that is, sorry about that, that is the bottom of the page has a 4 subject heading set of categories: search census, search vitals, search military, search immigration. And it really, what it does is it alleviates the time having to go through and narrow down your search because you're right where you need to be. So when I start with census, this is the complete set of the federal census from 1790 US. I'm able to look over here on the right-hand side and see a more simplified, cleaned up explanation of census records that tell us what they're about. As well, I can look at the fields and see what I'm expected to fill out, which is more lengthy than the vital records. There's a request for birth, where a marriage had happened, and military. They can coexist there a little bit more than what a vital record would ask for. And knowing that is important before starting. So this is what's nice about this new look to the Ancestry site is it's key to help folks just do one thing at a time instead of looking and seeing all of those categories that we started out back when I was searching my dad's military, his vitals, and his census information. So it's nice. And there's facts about the census. Not only are census records rich with details, but there's also there's a tutorial, of course, that I'm showing you right here. There you could go outside of the US. And I said you can find military records by browsing through this. And so instead of hopping around from one thing to another, you can see what the connection is from one thing to the next. So that gathering the information from the census helps also to find out where you might start looking for, let's say, service records, like I saw my dad's, based upon his birth date and where he lived. Those types of information are on the service records of the military. Photographs, not sure about how close I could get with that. Maybe group photos, like the collection I had from a friend of mine who served in the Navy in the 80s. I was able to go directly to military, but I might have had to refine some things by using, say, his grandparents' records in the census. So a lot of this are lead-ins, but at least you get a guide or a feel each time you go into Ancestry and see this nice feel and look. It's kind of clean. It's grouping things so that you're not lost when you first start out with a search and an empty slate. You've got an idea for vitals on what the fields are looking like, and over here on the right, what's featured: christening, marriage and divorce, death, cemetery records, obituaries. People don't think about those things when they're looking to search. So what's available is parlayed here. If you wish to look further, you can even go beyond the pond, so to speak, and get into the beyond US. So their Social Security death index, which is something that I was able to connect with my mother on. But you can even go beyond that and take some interesting information off of the data and connect it with England. Look at civil registrations And same thing when you're lucky enough to have the guidelines that you have over here versus going in and searching all of the categories. As we remember seeing, everything was here on the right hand side. You can, when you get a feel for it, you can eventually do a broader search and look at all the special collections. So that there are the Canadian census, and there's UK and federal census as well for birth, baptism, and christening. I can go in there and click on there, but it's nice to see it all gathered on, oh, I'm losing my angle here. It's nice to see the guided collections, and I'm going to swoop that around here, and right down here on the bottom, people can start right away and just click just to see what is, even if they're not searching, if they're just if you're a high school kid and you're really, you're very curious about what draft records looked like back in the day. I don't have to click anything to narrow just yet. I might start with Joe Smith and, just do a sample search of New Jersey, USA, maybe just see if we can get lucky and see what it's all about. There's a draft registration card for 1917 Joe Smith in New Jersey. The information that's gleaned, birth date 1894 and residence 1917, and draft board is mentioned, and then the view here, we can see what a record looked like and how people signed their names back in the day. And the cool thing is, not only is his name there and where he lived, born Plainfield, New Jersey, and trade, electrician, and employed, and relatives, and supporting three sisters. So there's so much information just as a sample search, just to see what was scanned, rather than thinking a kid can just Google something like this. What does a record look like in the Library of Congress? You can come up and do your own special, a name, create a name and create a character if you want, instead of looking back and trying to really build a family tree. Kids in school can get an idea while they're at home, see what records were done, how people were tabulated in the military, and how they were kept, how they were recorded, and what they did, and what their lives were like. It's very rich and it's invigorating to be able to share this information now that Ancestry is improving its look and its feel. And I think a lot of it is because people are responding, and on the forums they might be presenting that they're having questions and not getting anywhere. So this new look I'm impressed with, because it gives credence to your feedback and what you need, and Ancestry is responding by making these searches and giving you these, so to speak, pathfinders to be able to get to where you want to be. I'm in the last category, which is immigration and travel. And again, it's simplified. You can see passenger lists, citizenship and naturalization records, border crossings, a lot of the things that you would not normally know until you got into this, drill down a little bit to this particular aspect of searching, and it's right there from the get-go. So I do like this new look on Ancestry, and I hope you'll come back and give your feedback, questions, or emails. I'll be glad to do a search for you if you are so obliged. I am Sue Hansen, and I'm thanking you very much for coming along on Ancestry. Have a great day.